money traps to avoid if you want to be financially free. And you might say, I'm doing good. I got a good job. My bills are paid. And, I might not have all that I want, but I'm okay. I'm good. But you might still be in a trap, a money trap. And why do I say a money trap? Because the trap was designed to take the money out of your pocket and put it in their pocket, whoever designed the trap. So that's the topic today, and we're going to get into it. The first money trap that a lot of people go through, and I went through this. The first money trap is your lifestyle, trying to keep up with the Joneses. Who are the Joneses? I never met a Jones. But keeping up with the Smiths, or keeping up with the Sampsons, or keeping up with whoever it is. You see somebody in your neighborhood or your family member, or you got a rich uncle, or somebody who just bought a house, you want to buy a house. Somebody who just bought a car, you want to buy a car, a brand new car. But yet, you don't have the money to buy the car. And you say, well, I want a new car. I want a new TV. I want a new 50-inch screen TV. Well, now they got 152-inch screen TV. But I want a new 50 screen inch TV. Oh, I want a new house. Can you afford a new house? If you can't pay cash for it, can you afford a new house? No. Can you afford a new car? Well, if I get a car, I ain't asked for a car payment. Can you afford a new car? If you can't pay cash for it, can you afford a new car? Well, if I buy it on time, we're not asking you all of that. The thing that I'm telling you is, it's a money trap. The first money trap is you're trying to keep up with the Joneses, the Smith, the Sampsons, whoever it is, whatever your last name is. You're trying to keep up with somebody else, and you sitting back wondering, where my money going? There's a book that was out a long time ago. Who stole my cheese? Who stole my cheese? I'm gonna flip it. Who stole my money? One of my workers say, don't mess with my money. But I'm asking you, who stole your money? Nobody stole your money. You gave your money away. You gave them access to your money. Why? Because you fell in that trap, trying to be like the Joneses you see on TV. Buy your new house, no money down. Buy your new house, $500 down. Buy your new house, and you can increase your wealth. Yeah, you can increase your wealth if you got a strategy. But if you don't got a strategy, you don't got a plan, it's the money trap. And you say, why is it a money trap? I wrote some stuff down. Because you end up with little to no savings because you're trying to keep up with somebody else's blueprint. They might be struggling too. And you looking at them saying, oh, they must be good, but they might be struggling worse than you. They might be house poor. There are people say house rich. No, they might be house poor. Why are they house poor? Because all their money going out to pay the mortgage, the taxes, the insurance, and the tax and insurance is going up every year. And every time they look at their mortgage, they say, oh, I got a good mortgage. I'm only paying $2,000 a month because that covers the taxes, insurance. Yeah, it covers the taxes and insurance, and I'm good for 30 years. But they don't realize every year taxes go up. Every year insurance go up. Every year water bill go up. Every year the electricity goes up. So that $2,000 you started up when you close on your property, it's not 2,000 anymore. Next year the taxes go up. What do? You don't got enough in your escrow. You got to give us some more money in your escrow. Instead of paying $2,000 a month, now you got to pay $2,500 a month. Why I got to pay $2,500? Because the taxes went up. Okay, well, I got to come up with extra $500. Oh, shoot, a month. Oh man, I feel like I'm trapped. Yeah, you trapped because you mortgaged out your finances before you got it. That's the first money trap. You're trying to keep up with Joneses and you don't got no savings left because every year something's going to increase that mortgage, something's going to increase that car payment, something's going to increase whatever it is because you're trying to keep up with the Joneses. That's the first money trap you got to avoid if you want to be financially free. If that makes sense to you, type in the comment section because I don't want to just be talking to myself. Hey, Mr. Singh, how you doing? How you doing, sir? I can't pronounce your first name, but thanks for coming in. Thanks for leaving a comment. This your first time here? Type #1. Your second time here, #2. The next money trap, the next money trap you must avoid. If you want to be financially free, you got to avoid high interest debt. Avoid high interest debt. And what's a high interest debt? Credit cards. That's a high interest debt. What credit cards interest? What are credit card rate interest now? Or what is the interest of the credit cards now? 28, 29%. Got bad credit, you're paying 30, 40% interest on a credit card. And why are you paying 40% interest on it? You want to pay 40% interest? I'll lend you $1,000. You got to pay me $400 just to pay me back. So you got to give me $1,400 to pay me back. But it gets worse than that. How it get worse than that? It gets worse than that. Why? Because you're not paying $400. You're paying more than that. Because if you just make the minimum payments, you'll be paying that $1,000 off in 15 years. 15 years. Minimum payment, $20. How long will it take you to pay $1,000 off paying $20 a month? And $17 of that $20 a month is going toward interest. Oh, that's a lot of money. So you're only paying $3 a month to pay off $1,000. How long is that's going to take you? It's going to take you a long time. Why? Because you fell into that money trap called high interest debt, which is a credit card. And why did you do that? Oh, they gave me $10,000 credit card. I'm gonna flip that credit card, and make some more money off. You can do that. You can make money off credit cards. I did a video on that. Check my site or check the page. I made a video how to make the credit card pays you. But if you don't have a plan and you just take that credit card, swipe, swipe, swipe. Every time it swipe, 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 it's swiping money out your pocket. Yep, that's a money trap. And if you stay in that trap, you can't be financially free until you pay that off. Because compound interest is working against you. How is compound interest working against you? You put $1 in the bank or put $1 in some financial securities, they're going to give you X amount of interest back. I don't care if it's 1%. You put $1 in, you get a penny back. You're getting a penny back. You get $1.01. You made interest on it. But you keep that in there for a couple of years, 2 years, that dollar is going to be $1.02. That ain't a lot of money. Yeah, but that's 2 cents you had more than you started. When you put $10,000 in there and they give you 5% interest, how much is 5% of $10,000? That's $500. So you keep it in there for 2 years, that's $1,000 or 1,000, what? 10%. That's $1,000 plus a little bit more that you made of compound interest. Compound interest is compounding the interest that you are making from that instrument that you invested in or that you put the money in. But as a credit card, it's working against you. How's it working against you? Because you've given the banks the compound interest of you sitting there using their credit card, paying 40% interest on their credit card. Something wrong with y'all. So that's why you have to avoid high interest debt if you want to be financially free. The next thing you have to do, or the next money trap you have to avoid, is not investing or taking too long to start. Yeah. The next money trap you have to avoid if you want to be financially free is not investing or waiting too long to start. It took me a long time to realize this because life been lifing. When I was at my job, I had a good job. I was putting money in my 401k and the 403. I was putting money in there. Then I realized, man, I got some bills to pay. I got credit cards to pay. I got some debt to pay off. I'm going to stop putting money in there so I could pay these bills off. And then all this stuff started happening. I was like, oh, man, I got to get back into putting this money in this, in these investments. But it never happened until I got some understanding. I should have never stopped putting money in there. It stopped that compound interest. It stopped the interest from compounding. So what I'm saying, not investing. I was investing, but I stopped. But then I took a long time before I started back up. And by me doing that, I was saying to myself, man, I wish I never stopped because you lose out on that compound interest. How do you lose out on the compound interest? If you start 10 years of compound interest, the $1,000 over 10 years, depending on the interest rate, if your interest rate is 5%, that $10,000 or that $1,000 in 10 years can grow to either $2,500 or double $3,000, depending on the interest rate. But there's a formula. If the interest rate is high enough, you can double your money in 7 years. That's a whole different mindset that you have to have. Not investing or taking too long to invest. That's a money trap that you got to avoid if you want to be financially free. The next thing you have to avoid if you want to be financially free, you ignore emergency savings. Don't ignore emergency savings. Because if you got 6 months worth of savings, you good. You got a year worth of savings, you even better. If you got 2, 3 years worth of savings just tucked away in an interest bearing account, you good. Anything can happen. Not anything, but most of the stuff that can happen to you, most of the stuff that can happen to you is not going to wipe that out. Because you've got an interest bearing account for an emergency savings, all that money is being compounded upon itself. And while it's being compounded upon itself, if an emergency happened and you got to dip into it, you might be dipping into the compound interest that it was making because you had $10,000 in there and nothing happened for 5 years. And you got 15, 20,000 and something pop off and it cost you 3,000. You still ahead because you already got 2,000 of compound interest that's already sitting there saying you can use me if you want, but I'm a compound if you don't use. If you're living paycheck to paycheck, if you're struggling, you still have to have an emergency savings. You can't say, I don't have enough to save. You might say you don't have enough to save, but if you say you don't have enough to save, that means you got enough to save. Why? Because if something comes off, something happens, you want to take that money away from something else, right? Take the money away from that thing now, so if something pop off, you will have something to fall back on, a cushion. It might be harsh, and you might say, I don't make no sense. It makes sense because if something happens, you're going to be in want. If something happens, you're going to take the money away from it somewhere or another. Because if you don't, you're going to have that excuse. Well, I got to pay this bill, and I got to take from Peter to pay Paul, and Mary sitting there scratching her head and saying, where's my money? You're going to do it anyway, so do it proactive. So if something happens, you will have something to fall back on. Now, the last thing, the last money trap you must avoid if you want to be financially free, you have to stop falling for those get rich quick schemes. Stop. Stop falling for those get rich quick schemes. You got to stop doing that. Because if you keep on falling for those tricks, you're going to fall and you won't get up. Every time that you fall for that scam, you're going to sit back and say, man, I could have put that money somewhere else. Those MLM, multi-level marketing tricks that they have. The multi-level marketing programs that they say they have that's going on. You could make $10 million if you sell this vitamin product. You can make $10 million if you sell this. You can do this. You can do a whole lot of things. You ain't making money quick. The only way you making money, you get more people to sign up for the program that you already signed up for. Sign up for this program. It's $4.99 if you sign up. But if you want to be a head marketer, you pay $1,500. You get $499. The company get the rest of the money, and then you tell them you got to sign more people. Do I sell the product? No, you don't got to sell the product, but you're selling people to sell the product. But in reality, you really signing people up to get them to sign people up. And that's a get rich quick scheme for the first person to sign people up because they're telling you, you can make all this money. Sign more people up. You make $499. Even if it's $99, you sign them up, you make $99. And your goal is to sign people up instead of selling the product that they're telling you to sell to make money. It's a get rich quick scheme. Back in the 90s, in the 80s, another get rich quick scheme, buy your house, no money down. Yeah, buy your house, no money down. Yeah, you don't need no money down. They sued the guy, Carlton Sheets, because the guy was telling people they can buy houses with no money down and made millions of dollars, or right now, tens of millions of dollars in the 80s, telling people they don't need money to buy a house. In New York, in Philadelphia, in California, they sued him. They said you got to be more specific. You can't be telling these people they can buy a house with no money down. And he had to change everything. He said, "Oh, you can buy a house with no money down, but you can buy a house with low down payment." Had to change his whole get rich quick scheme. He still was making money because he was telling people you can do it this way and do it that way. I tried it. I tried it. I didn't pay for it. I got it for free, but I still tried it. Can you get a house with no money down? If you know the techniques, yes, you can. If you have a strategy, yes, you can. Here's a quick thing. How to get a house with no money down. Don't use your money. Use somebody else's money. Use somebody else's money as an investment. Get some partners. You got the idea, they get you the money. You take the money, buy the property, you still a partner. That's one way. But the money trap to avoid is stop trying to get rich quick with those schemes. Because it's not going to work. In the long run, you're going to be like, man, I should have took that money and invested it somewhere else. I should have did something.